the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing, is what Socrates allegedly said. Well, I don't literally buy into that, because I think everybody knows something, but I think it's more like the true wisdom is knowing that there are limits to what you can know, but also I don't like the other extreme that is nowadays like New Agers and their kind like are promoting like you can really know nothing and everything is subjective and whatnot, and reality is how you perceive it, and yeah, certainly to a certain extent reality is how you perceive it, like even if you're delusional, but it does affect you in different ways if you perceive it differently. But still, I do think there are some objective facts and that we can know objectively, but I do think there are many more facts that we think we know objectively, but actually they are subjective claims. So anyway, I'm still I'm sort of gonna respond to my previous video on IQ, where I said that IQ is not scientific fact. Like, I'm gonna respond to some of the comments I got, and also like tackle the myth of the scientist, or like the concept of scientism and stuff like that. So okay, well, I guess I'll start off with like saying what I mean, like, because there is this thing that some people call scientism, like things that people perceive as science, and it is often done or said, like claims made by people who often do have some sort of science degree or academic degree, but it doesn't still make it science, even if a so-called scientist makes the claim. Since like science does not exist in a vacuum, it is affected by human failings and economic factors. So, because like some people seem to believe, and I'm not talking about scientists, I'm talking about like regular people you might know in your private life, or you meet them on the internet and stuff. They think like once scientists say something, it's absolutely true, and then it's not. And then there's the other spectrum of people who say like, yeah, everybody knows that science is never settled, and you're stupid for even saying that, and so on. But like, I don't think that the perfect Renaissance man of science exists, or like maybe there is one, somebody who is good at everything and understands all aspects of science, but I do see this attitude that some people see scientists as like these almost perfect beings who are completely objective, and that's absolute bullshit. Okay, let's just look at this comment. So this is my previous video. I got more. I didn't get any likes on YouTube, just dislikes. I got some likes, at least on mine, which I appreciate. Thank you. But okay, this guy roasted the antidote. He said, but water does not always boil at 100 Celsius. It depends on variables. Since science depends, that's the point. There is no 100% unless the dependent variables are accounted for. And then he's quoting me, I guess I'm going to trust the scientist, and he didn't say that I said I'm going to trust the scientist on this one. And what the fuck, dude? The proper scientists don't trust each other. That's the point of science. Replicability. You undermine your argument within 3 minutes, I'm done, pretty much. It is known that psychology is not a hard science. It's research and largely based on correlation and coefficient. Look it up. So, okay, at least like his tone was a bit rude, but at least he made like some arguments. Like I looked up this thing that water does not always boil at 100 Celsius. Like here it says, we learn at school that pure water always boils at 100 Celsius, 212 Fahrenheit under normal atmospheric pressure. Like, surprisingly many things that quote unquote everybody knows, this is a myth. We ought to stop perpetuating This myth in schools and universities and in everyday life. Not only it is incorrect, but it also conveys misleading ideas about the nature of scientific knowledge, and unlike some other myths, it does not serve sufficiently useful functions. There are actually all sorts of variations in the boiling temperature of water. For example, there are differences of several degrees depending on the material of the container in which the boiling takes place, and removing dissolved air from water can easily raise its boiling temperature by about 10 degrees centigrade, blah blah. Okay. So, I guess, yeah, I assumed that this one, everybody it is known fact that I had heard ever since I was a child is true, but like when you assume, you make an ass out of you. So, and I thank this guy for pointing it out. But like, so to elaborate what I meant, that still the fact that water boils at certain point after you heat it, that is a scientific fact. It is, it has replicability. And anybody can do it, whenever, regardless of what continent you live on. Like, it's just like, yeah, all these degrees, like Celsius, Kelvin, Fahrenheit, they are man-made constructs, at least according to my knowledge. They are just humans trying to model reality, and they are imperfect, so I don't think it's scientific fact. It might be scientific modeling, but I think it behooves us to like know the difference. And like, yeah, this is like this guy, I was wrong about something, this guy pointed out, but it doesn't invalidate my argument that the fact that water boils, like you heat water enough, it will start to boil. This is unchangeable. Like, I don't think it's arbitrary. Like, maybe the temperature does vary, but like the fact that you heat water is gonna boil, or like, you can freeze water, or like, or other facts, like, wood burns, or like straw burns. You put a lit match to a hail, or like straw bale or something, it's gonna catch fire unless it's like, really wet or something. But like, those are pretty much basic scientific facts that, whether you're a country bumpkin or like an educated professor or something, that is something that everybody has observed, unless like they're, kids nowadays who live in the big city and have no connection to reality and never have seen even fire. Like, all the heat they know is from like a stove or a radiator, but that's besides the point. Okay, let's move on. So, and then I respond like, yeah, if you finish the sentence, I say something like, I guess I'm going to trust the scientist on this one. Usually I don't. And then this guy, or whatever, he says, you should trust the scientists. They are correct. Water boils at 100 Celsius under standard conditions and change depending on various variables. So the first guy, he says like, he says I undermine my argument by trusting scientists and thinking that the boiling point of water is always 100 Celsius. But this guy says like, yeah, it is always 100 Celsius, and I should trust the scientists. So which one is it? Like, I'm sandwiched between two extremes. One is saying like, this I think that the top one is more reasonable opinion, but I still find it a bit extreme. Because like, I'll get into it later why, because like proper scientists don't trust each other. I think he has he or she, whatever, has a very high opinion of scientists, which I don't. So yeah, which one is it? Like, I get attacked for both trusting and not trusting scientists, like, I don't know. Why don't they fight each other? Why fight me? I don't get it. And yeah, like, and then the fact that you don't trust scientists while failing 6th grade science really shows how retarded and scientifically illiterate you are. So, care to prove that I failed 6th grade science, since, like I said in this latter comment, that I didn't even have 6th grade science because we don't have such a subject in school here in Finland, so it's impossible to fail it. And like, I guess the equivalent would be like 7th grade physics or chemistry or something, and I didn't fail them. I wasn't so good at it, but I didn't fail them. So anyway, this, at least, like, this guy, Rose City Antidote, I don't agree with like his attitude and like these arguments are that strong in my opinion. But at least he has some argument. He taught me something, so I don't mind it. But this guy is basically writing this wall of text basically just to insult me, and then he insults me more, and then I block him, and somebody's gonna say that, oh, you're anti-free speech because you block this guy. Like, yeah, I will, like, because I guess one reason why I make these videos is to provoke discussion. And like, if you're gonna, like, you bother to write this like long responses to me, but the only thing you do is insult me, like, no, I am not gonna like listen to it, because like, you make me read through it. Like, if you make an insult, keep it brief. I show a couple of good insults later on from mines. And then there's still this guy, CX32, glad you're not a scientist. Like, okay, I got other similar comments, like, you don't understand, or, yeah, good, you're not a scientist. Like, they prove, or at least highlight the failure of the education system in their countries, whatever country they're from, because a lot of people, they say, I don't understand science, I'm stupid, I'm this or that, I don't understand, but they never explain what don't I understand. Like, at least, like, like, in school, I'm not so happy with the education system here in Finland, I never was, but at least, like, the basic idea was, like, if you don't understand something, the teacher will tell you, or at least try to explain it to you. But these people never do. They don't, with the exception of this guy, they didn't like offer any like arguments or proof or anything. They just say, I'm dumb, I don't understand, so forth. So okay, let's move on. So I don't know what to say about this. Oh yeah, another thing. He said that like a hard, I don't understand the difference between hard science and soft science. Yeah, so the reason I didn't like talk about, you know, the separation of hard science and soft science is one, like, because I don't like it, and for one reason is that I try at least to, like, you know, when I say something, I try to do it in a descriptive manner, because maybe not everybody knows what hard science and soft science is, or like maybe they have a different idea of what they mean from me, and probably they do. And like, I don't know, it's just lazy to use these like nouns, like, oh, everybody knows, because I wanna like I want to have some examples of, you know, if I say like hard science and soft science, like I used a example of this so-called hard science, like the boiling point of water, which is you heat it, it will boil eventually if the, you know, the heat is strong enough. Okay, I'll get back to that later on too, but I wanna look at the comments first. Okay, so yeah, there's like this guy, Libertas est Immortalis. He said that I've been arguing this for a while, good to see it being talked about. Yeah, so I appreciate that somebody has nice comments. Like, of course, it's even nicer when you have, well, whether it's nice comments or not so nice comments, but when you bring arguments to the table. But like, yeah, I appreciate it, so it doesn't make me feel crazy that, you know, there are some people who liked my video. So I don't know, getting a decent amount of likes but more dislikes, I take it as evidence that I am onto something. Like, okay. And this guy, YouTuber thinks he knows better than scientists. Like, this is an example of the cult of scientism. Just as somebody is a scientist, it doesn't mean that he automatically just knows better, because scientists are human beings. They are not infallible. They can be deceptive for financial or like their ideological reasons and so on and so forth. And like, you know, if you want, and you can dispute the claims of scientists if you know what you're talking about. And I do. Like, I'm not saying I'm the, you know, foremost expert and I understand everything when it comes to IQ tests and so forth. But that's why in my previous video I said, like, I looked at some example of IQ tests and I said, like, okay, if these are not good examples of IQ tests, please somebody show me like what a proper IQ test looks like. And he got 5 likes. Like, that's not an argument. Like, please point out why I'm dumb. And okay, so I don't know, he's hinting at some of my agenda. Well, my agenda is to point out bullshit. Okay, IQ is not a fact. IQ is a test to try model facts, and IQ tests are so far our best approximation of like a precise measure or definition of intelligence. Like, it's probably true. Like, I guess I don't disagree. I just don't think IQ tests are a very good approximation of intelligence. Like I said in two of my previous videos, that I think it is more like it measures your domestication and the ability to serve like modern, urbanized lifestyle or whatever. But yeah, it's like saying degrees Kelvin aren't facts. No, I don't think they are facts. I don't think Kelvin, Fahrenheit, Celsius, I think they are man-made concepts. And okay, let's look at this. Absolute zero is like 0 Kelvin, and it's allegedly the coldest temperature there is. Like, absolute zero is the lower limit of the thermodynamic temperature scale, a state at which the enthalpy and entropy of a cooled ideal gas reaches its minimum value taken as 0. The theoretical temperature is determined by extrapolating the ideal gas law. By international agreement, absolute zero is taken as minus 273.15 degrees on the Celsius scale. And it's 459.67 on the Fahrenheit scale. Okay, let's look at, like, you know, enthalpy was the measurement of energy in a thermodynamic system, and blah, 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 whatever that means. And an ideal gas is a theoretical gas composed of many randomly moving point particles. So it's a theoretical thing, idealized. These are not scientific facts. These are man-made ideas. And a lot of these, I was gonna say morons, but I'll try to, you know, be polite. I don't want to be dragged down to their level. But these believers in scientism, they think just because these, you know, scientists, i.e. priests of scientism, say something, it's the law. No, that's what the Pharisees did, you know, in the time of Jesus. And hey, I don't know if Jesus existed or not or anything, if it's true, but I do appreciate at least the, you know, the moral of the story. Like, Jesus was preaching the truth against these high priests who say that, you know, the what man says is true instead of what is true in the real world. Like, yeah, so, but I don't think that a lot of people understand the difference. That's why I'm talking about it. And like, you know, maybe the scientists do, like, you know, this guy will be like, scientists are this and that. Like, maybe they are. Maybe the scientists are so fucking smart and they understand, but a lot of these rubes on the internet don't. So yeah. So even this, like, and this is, I remember when I was like child or a teenager or something, I already back then I was like, oh, 0 Kelvin is the absolute zero, so nothing can be colder than this. Like, I don't know, like, how can they don't know that? And apparently they don't. It's a theoretical temperature, and it was decided by international agreement, consensus. This is not science. This is a man-made construct. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad construct or it should be discarded altogether, but it is not scientific fact, as I defined it in my previous video, that it is something that is objectively observable, and they haven't observed it, apparently, if it's a theoretical thing reached by international agreement. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, another Minds user railing against things he doesn't understand. Please make me understand. You know, those, I guess they just like their perceived intellectual superiority, because I'm so dumb, I don't understand what I'm talking about, so please explain it to me. Explain it to those 9 people who seem to agree with me, or at least like some of what I was saying. And okay, this I approve. Shabbos Shekels. OP has a double-digit IQ. Like, this is a nice insult. Like, it's not like pretending to be like some, you know, intellectual argument, since it's not. It's humorous, so I approve of it. Like, maybe I'll even like it. Okay, I like it. And it's trolling. I don't mind trolling, like, you know, if it's in good humor, but like, why I blocked this Mananan guy who came even to follow me on Minds, or like to comment on Minds, so he seems to be obsessed or something, because like, yeah, I want discussion, but like, I don't want like insults masquerading as discussion arguments. And yeah, okay, and somebody linked this video, like, it's not an argument, but yeah, I suppose I should watch it at some point when I get the time to do it. Alright. So yeah, like, what this reminds me of is like this guy, David Wood. He has his channel that he's like a former psychopath turned Christian who nowadays, like, his channel is 99% about like debunking Islam and pointing its logical fallacies and how it's a false religion and so on and so forth. And I think most of the stuff he does is pretty good. But anyway, he's gotten a lot of like insults and death threats from Muslims, and it sort of reminds me, although I didn't get any death threats, and like the extent of hate that he receives is of course much higher, but I get the same vibe. Like, you know, these people, they don't use arguments to try to dispute what I am saying. They are simply insulting my intelligence and my making up stories about me, like I could have failed 6th grade science when I could not have done such a thing, since there is no such class in Finland. Okay, I'll just play a clip.
I regularly get threats from people who say they're going to murder me, or chop my head off, or burn me alive, or rape my wife, or rape my mother, or slaughter my children. That's a way of life for me, because I criticize Muhammad, founder of the religion of peace. I regard these constant threats both as the fruit of Islam and as signs of desperation. But it's rare to see a Muslim throw so many attacks and insults at me at once that his soul lays open before me. We're about to journey into the heart of a true jihadi.
So yeah, just, you know, there's all these comments. You can watch the video yourself. I think he has other videos, like, you know, I don't know. Well, there's all these like walls of text. And yeah, he said like they say they're gonna kill him, rape his wife, whatever. And of course, like well, he has. Well, the group that he's opposing is of course even more like violent and aggressive, and of course he's like more eloquent than I am, and he has a bigger channel. But I do think I did notice like reading these comments, like they made me think of this because I saw this video like you know, probably 6 months ago or whenever, and like, hey, it's sort of like you know, these people who claim to be all about science, but they're all about insults. And another thing I find curious, like these people are apparently they are interested in like intellectual and scientific topics, but they still like they take the time to like, you know, just insult me, but they without providing proof or evidence or arguments. But like I don't understand, like, because okay, and of course I know this is the internet, this is how a lot of people behave, but I try not to behave like that. And then somebody's gonna point out like, oh no, I insulted these guys. Well, I insulted this guy. Like he's I find you weird. First you claim IQ isn't scientific fact. Well, I was this, you know, if you don't know what monkey island sword fighting techniques are, well, you are ignorant. Please educate yourself. You can Google it. I'm pretty sure you know what, you know, it's brilliant. Of course it's old thing now, but it was brilliant, you know, originally. And so yeah, this guy doesn't clearly doesn't understand, and I was like responding to, you know, this guy whose comment I actually like, even though he was just insulting me, but he did it with style. And then I said I can call him a slowpoke. And I guess I didn't say I call him a slowpoke, but he is acting like a slowpoke, so I don't know, like he makes this, you know, why isn't he saying it to, I don't know, like I was responding to Shabbos shekels in kind, so I don't know, like, you know, am I not allowed to insult people back who insult me first? Anyway, so I can understand like people who somebody makes a review of the latest Star Wars movie and says it was crap, and then all the fanboys come like, oh, you're a fucking idiot, I'm gonna, you know, you go kill yourself, fuck your mom, whatever. I can understand that, like, you know, people who are, you know, just interested in entertainment and whatnot, you know, I can understand it. But like if you are interested in a topic such as this, which is about science and is it science and so forth, like, but you don't wanna bring anything intellectual to the table, like, I don't fucking get it, like, seriously. And well, I do, because these are religious people, religious of, you know, this secular Pharisaic scientism, and I insulted their religion, just like, you know, he insulted the religion of Muslims, so they threaten him and insult him and so forth. Okay, let's move on. So just to, I don't know, like, just to talk about scientism and science, like, first of all, there have been many like frauds and hoaxes in science, like the Piltdown Man, which was supposedly the link between humans and apes and proving evolution and all that stuff. And and then, you know, I was just, you know, googling scientific hoaxes, and then even like Lucy, which is like the oldest, most complete fossil of an early human ever found, and they found a baboon bone mixed in with it. So I don't know, like, was it there always? It was discovered in 74, and it was apparently discovered, like, I guess in 2015. So was it always part of it, or like did somebody smuggle it in? And like, of course, like some people think that, oh, it might be a hoax then. And of course, on another website, I saw somebody say like, anybody who thinks Lucy is a hoax is an idiot, and use the word moron. And you know, that's not an argument. I don't know if Lucy is a hoax or not, and I don't fucking care right now. Like, it's just like, this is how a lot of these people who believe in science behave. And like, well, they believe in scientism, they don't believe in science, they don't understand the difference because they are brainwashed cultists. Absolute zero. And okay, now I want to go back to hard and soft science. And like, I think it's more like, I consider hard science to be something that you that is something that is repeatable, observable, that objective, such as water boiling, wood burning. It is like you know, it is very predictable, and like, even though it might be very difficult, if even impossible, to like describe like accurately when it is that the wood actually burns, since I do think that, yeah, these degrees of heat are, they are not scientific fact. They are just trying to model reality, and they are inaccurate, so we should recognize it as such. So anyway, like, and what I don't like about this hard and soft science, because normally it's like, they think that, physics, chemistry, and astrophysics and stuff like that is supposedly hard science, but social sciences, like, sociology, gender studies, and psychology, they are soft sciences. But I don't believe in this dichotomy, or like this, separation, because I think that a lot of like astrophysics and stuff is also soft science, because it's not something we can verify by ourselves. And like the mass of Earth. Okay. So yeah, how do scientists measure or calculate the weight of the planet? And like, well, the Earth's mass was calculated with the Cavendish Experiment. Is this thing with the balls, like big ball here, small ball here, small, and how they like supposedly attract each other, like the bigger object attracts the smaller one, and how they move, and somehow calculating the gravity. But like, it's very, like, there's this video, like, it's very difficult, like, even nowadays. Like, this was originally performed in 1797 and 98 by Henry Cavendish, and it was devised by geologist John Mitchell, but he died, and then Cavendish took over, and so forth. But at least what I like heard, that this is very dubious, and like, hey, maybe it's accurate, but I don't find it convincing. I don't think, just watching a couple of balls like spin around or whatever it is they do, like, I don't think you can calculate the weight or the mass of Earth with it. Like, no fucking way. Like, if you wanna claim that we accurately know how much the Earth weighs, or Mars, or whatever, I don't know, you have to make some giant space scale to measure, Earth or Mars or whatnot, or even the moon, which is much smaller. Like, I don't know. It's not hard science. Like, I'm not saying it's definitely a lie or anything like that. I just don't find it convincing. It's not like there's a big difference between the boiling point of water and claiming that, this proves that Earth weighs, however, like, it was some, big numbers, whatever. And another thing, like, I don't know, like, how they can calculate the, like, I don't know, I guess they calculate how much is the mass of Mars is by on the, the gravitational forces pulling in the solar system, or whatnot. But like, how the fuck do they do that? Since like, because of dark matter. Dark matter is a hypothetical type of matter distinct from baryonic ordinary matter such as protons and neutrons, neutrinos, and dark energy. Dark matter has never been observed, however, its existence would explain a number of otherwise puzzling astronomical observations. And it says that dark matter, so the total mass of energy of the universe contains 4.9% ordinary matter. So 5% is normal matter that we can see with our eyes, but according to scientists. And dark matter constitutes 84.5% of total mass, so 85%, while dark energy plus dark matter constitute 95.1% of total mass energy content. So 95% of the mass of the whole fucking universe is dark energy and dark matter, which is hypothetical, that has never been observed. So you explain it to me, because I'm a dumb bumpkin from the country and I don't even know how to read or anything, right? And so you explain it to me. How the fuck do they calculate like anything out there in outer space or whatever it is, when they don't understand 95% of what is out there? Like, how can they accurately know like how much gravity affects Mars or Earth or whatever? Like, it's bullshit. It's not science. Like, I'm not saying we should throw away all astrophysics books and stuff. Like, there's probably something very relevant there, but overall, like, the story they're telling, it's bullshit. And even gravity, I don't think is hard science. Like, I think I showed this, or at least read this line in my earlier video. Maybe it was one of my gaming videos, but okay. You see gravity at work anytime you drop a book, step on a scale, or toss a ball up in the air. Yes, this is the gravity. Like, there's two concepts of gravity. This, very observable common sense thing that, things have weight. But according to science, it's because of gravitation that, stronger bodies attract smaller ones, and how the planets are spinning in space. And this is something that is, I find, to be soft science at best. And okay, let's continue with this. It's such a constant presence in our lives, you seldom marvel at the mystery of it. But even with several well-received theories out there attempting to explain why a book falls to the ground and at the same time rate as a pebble or a couch at that, they're still just theories. The mystery of gravity's pull is pretty much intact. Unless, like, maybe this I don't know, how stuff works is some creationist flat earth conspiracy site that is trying to make science look like bullshit. But but if it's not, like, well, yeah, I've seen like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's cannot really explain what gravity is either. So it's not science. Like, it is a scientific theory. I'll give it that. It probably has some validity to it, but it is not hard science. It has not been proven, and I cannot observe myself like how the different planets affect their pull and whatnot, what scientists claim. Like, no, it's not science. That's not what science is. Like, you don't understand. Like, if you think this is what science, if you think you should trust the scientists, they are correct. Like, no, that's not how science works. Like the first guy pointed out. And even something like dinosaurs. Like, when I was a kid, Jurassic Park came out and dinosaurs were so cool, I liked it. But like, apparently a lot of these dinosaurs, this is like, they are different than we thought. Like a Stegosaurus. So maybe this is like how we thought and this is how it is or something. I don't want to read all of it. And like Diplodocus. Okay, and Velociraptor. So they had feathers and like they're smaller. I think it says something like this. And Spinosaurus. Isn't Spinosaurus kin some YouTuber? I don't know what is a Psittacosaurus. I've never. Okay, this looks a bit familiar maybe, but Compagnonathus. So apparently, yeah. Now they didn't have feathers before that, and now they have feathers and. Yeah, I don't know, this birdie and Parasaurolophus. I remember seeing this one, so it's apparently different. And yeah, Tyrannosaurus Rex. So I guess this is like how it's supposedly was actually, not like this. And here it says that new discoveries from China have confirmed that the earliest T-Rex relatives had feathers. So okay, so paleontologists believe that this meant T-Rex would have feathers too, at least during a part of its life. So apparently, the thing we need, they say it like, okay, this is T-Rex, this is how it looked, how it behaved, but apparently it wasn't true. It had feathers and shit, and so they told us bullshit. Like, what was science 20 years ago? Now it's just, like, we made it up, and so what's to say that this is any more accurate? Like, maybe in 10 years they don't say they had feathers. They said, like, I don't know, they had like huge gaping vaginas on their heads or whatnot. And Triceratops is apparently different. And like, yeah, here is even like 5 dinosaurs that never existed. Brontosaurus apparently didn't exist, or Triceratops, so it was like Torosaurus or something. And Archaeoraptor, I don't know. Pterosaurs. And yeah, here it says like pterosaurs existed, so soaring over Mesozoic landscapes, swooping for a prey ranging from the size of a sparrow to a full-blown airplane. The problem is they aren't dinosaurs. No, really, dinosaurs were a real thing, defined as evolving from 2 particular clades and having all the same upright stance. While pterosaurs were flying reptiles, they just weren't dinosaurs. It's like Pluto. Pluto exists, it's not a planet, it's a dwarf planet. So this is some fucking psyop bullshit right here. And like, yeah, so apparently pterosaur was like, I don't know, it looks like a toucan or something. So it was a bird-like flying reptile apparently. Like, it's just like, they're making up words. Like, this is like a fucking, rapping or something, or poetry. This is not science. Like, these are not scientists. They're just changing the meanings of things and thinking that, like, reality changes. Like, no, reality does not change. It's only our perception of reality. Like, they are fucking, Pharisees. Like, and there are some people who claim that dinosaurs never existed. They were a hoax. And it's not just, creationists. There are some other people, and looking at stuff like this, I don't find it such a hard argument to swallow. Like, I don't know what it is. I have no I cannot prove it either way. But clearly, a lot of the stuff they tell us about dinosaurs is complete bullshit. Like, they said this is how it is, but apparently, like, and I'm not gonna I believed them 20 years ago when they said this is this. But now I don't okay, you bullshitted me once, I'm not gonna buy it again, and yeah, I do think that there are there might have been these, giant lizards in, thousands or hundreds of thousands of years ago or whenever. Also I don't buy it when they say, when was that, let's see, when was the Jurassic period, I don't remember the numbers. So it's 56 million years from the end of the Triassic period. Okay. Whatever. Well, I don't know, millions. They have all these fucking periods. They weren't there. They're just. This is also very soft science in my opinion. And I'm not a creationist. I'm not saying the Earth is 6,000 years old or something. I don't know how old the Earth is, and for all I know, it's 300 years old. So fuck it, I don't know. Like, it's just, my point is like, these people don't know. They're just making shit up. Like, you know, it's probably based on some facts, but like, you know, they're just telling you stories. And so yeah, it's like, you know, I'd like somebody to look like take a very scientific look at dinosaurs, and like, you know, what you can actually prove, because I do think that some dinosaur finds, certainly, like, I know this, like, you know, claims, like, they were probably made by people who had, you know, they had went to university, studied to be a paleontologist or whatnot for many years and paid all the tuition crap, and then they, you know, like, fuck, I have to show results for my work. So then they either, you know, they find some bones, and then they make up like, okay, if you put up this bone, put together this bone like this and this bone like that, it looks like a, you know, triceratops. Like, yeah. Then they come up with the concept of triceratops. But now somebody, like, you know, 10-20 years later, they notice like, wait, I also studied to be a paleontologist, but I have no like results to, you know, to justify my funding. So now he has to like, okay, maybe I haven't made any discovery of bones, so I have to, like, you know, look at these old dinosaurs and I'll find something different again about them, and you know, and pretty, I think there are some like findings like where, you know, people like the Piltdown Man or whatnot. Like, I think there are some fake dinosaur bone findings too, and you know, some people claim it's all dinosaur bone findings are fake. I don't know about that. Like, probably not, but it's just what kind of beings were the first alleged dinosaurs? Like, I don't know. Like, does anybody know? Like, they find a bunch of big bones, presumably, and you know, it's only basically based on the imagination of the scientists what they look like. And like, you know, it's not like, you know, scientific fraud is some and like, you know, financial factors, they of course play a part in science as well. Like, I don't know, I don't understand how people nowadays, like, because pretty much everything you see, it's about like commerce and, you know, or selling you stuff. I just selling you stuff so you can pay them your money, or selling stuff so they, like, you know, buy your narrative, like, believe you. And this, what I think a lot of scientists are doing as well. And I'm not saying that, you know, all scientists are fraudsters, or like, you know, you should disregard everything they say. Like, of course not, but like, you just have to look at it with a grain of salt if you really are like you really do believe in science instead of religion and these, you know, man-made religions. And it's, you know, these people, like, once again, like, they don't offer any arguments, like, except, like, you know, this guy offered some argument. Like, otherwise they just insult me. And please, like, insult me more, so I know I am wrong once again, because I don't understand. Like, what don't I understand? Like, what don't I understand about, like, dinosaurs, like, apparently changing shape? Like, and of course, like, yeah, you can argue that, yeah, science is never settled. This just proves that science is working. Like, no, like, okay, like, if these things were wrong all along, what other stuff that we think we know are wrong? Especially, like, you know, when it comes to, like, cosmology, like, dark matter proves that they know nothing about, you know, outer space. Like, it's all bullshit, because 95% of the stuff they perceive is like, you know, according to their admission, apparently it's, you know, they don't understand it. So how can they just assume that they, you know it's like one kind of math? Like, it's just, it's mathematical chicanery and like, you know, semantical bullshit. Like, you know, oh, Pluto, like, yeah, Pluto was a planet, and but like, 5 years ago or whenever they decide like, no, it's not a planet. Like, okay, what the fuck is up with that? Like, or pterosaurs, they're flying reptiles, but they're not dinosaurs. Like, okay, well, what the fuck is the difference between a flying reptile and a flying dinosaur? I don't know, like, and you know, I remember like 20 years ago, some scientists were theorizing that birds evolved from dinosaurs. And then it's like, okay, it's a theory, I don't know if it's true, but now it's like, oh, now it's accepted as truth. Like, what did they make a discovery actually? Like, they discovered bones in China that T-Rex actually probably had feathers too. Like, okay, show me a picture of a T-Rex with feathers, show me the bones. Like, am I just supposed to take it at face value? Like, I'm so dumb, I don't know how to believe. I don't believe in science. I don't believe in the Cavendish experiment. Like, why can't they just explain what gravity is if they, and if it's just a established scientific fact. Like, and yeah, I do believe in gravity in the sense that things fall down, but apparently, like, this model of big bodies attracting small bodies, like, they don't understand it, so why should I pretend like that I do? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And then there's these morons, and yeah, I'm gonna call them morons, who are like, they're just insulting me. Like, please debunk me with actual reason, evidence, and I prefer, not just link to some video with somebody, some Sam Harris, Charles Murray. They are big names in science, so they must be true.